So I'm going to try out a couple of new materials today because I've been given a few interesting things for my birthday. And the first thing is that I'm going to try is this. This looks like tailor's chalk. Those of you who are or were seamstresses or dressmakers will recognize this shape. And in fact, this is by a company called ArtGraf, who I think are based in Portugal. Hence the little tray that these sit in, which is made of cork, because Portugal and Spain have very large reserves of cork oak, and I think this is a use that it's being put to now for palettes. I think I've seen a few Canadian versions of this as well, this idea, but these aren't, they are and they aren't paint. They are compressed pigment of various sorts. This is graphite, this is carbon black, and this is white. It seems to be something like, what do you call it? The white pigment. It's a bit like gouache. It's some kind of chalk. But anyway, you can take it out and you can draw with it. You can use the corner and you can sharpen it when it goes blunt, and you can get some interesting effects. So that's the neutrals, that's the white, the grey and the black. And then Tamsin also gave me these three, you can see I've had a bit of a go with it, these three primary colours, which you can use to do drawing with. And the very first thing I did with it, which just as literal to try it out, I'll show you. It's not particularly spectacular, but it just does demonstrate the colours, how they blend. I did this last night just before I went to bed. And I started off by just drawing a quick landscape sketch in the blue, and then I added yellow, and then I added some red, and then I put water on it in certain places to see how well it blended. And the colours do blend. It's a bit like painting in pastel, only not quite. It's an interesting, be quiet Arthur, it's an interesting technique, so we're definitely going to explore that. For those of you who like dry medium drawing as well as watercolour, this is a really interesting blend. So somebody suggested this morning that maybe I would do a loose watercolour jellyfish. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one in white using this just as a trial. I have never really concentrated on jellyfish before, so that's going to be new to me. And then I'm going to do one after I've done that. Another thing that one of my absolutely adorable followers sent me a whole bunch of paints. She sent me this and this. You'll know who you are. I'm really so very grateful for these things. I've got a set of the core, the primary core, or core, I don't know how you pronounce that, primaries, which is something I wanted desperately to try out, and we'll look at that again later in more detail. I've got the Daniel Smith Basic Primer Tech set and the Jean Haines All That Shimmers. All of these are things that I really wanted to try out and I hadn't got round to ordering yet. So thank you very, very much for sending me those things. I do appreciate it so much. So I'm going to take out these, haven't used them yet, these shimmery colours, and we've got electric blue, iridescent electric blue, we've got iridescent copper, iridescent topaz. I always remember topaz. It didn't used to be green in the days when Avon had a perfume called Topaz. That was my mum's favourite, and I seem to remember it was a kind of golden colour, the packaging for that. Pearlescent white, that might be the thing to try. Iridescent ruby and iridescent Arctic gold. So we've got all of those to choose from. But I think what I'll do is I will go for the iridescent pearl so that we can do a comparison with that, between that and the chalk, the chalky thing, which looks exactly like Tailor's chalk. It's quite bizarre. So this is a little palette that was also sent to me for my birthday by a great friend in Germany. And this is marvellous, isn't it? A little porcelain palette. So I'm going to put some of this Jean Haines pearlescent white in one of those little indentations. And then put that away. Quick slurp of coffee. And so I have a picture of a jellyfish in front of me on my MacBook, which I'm looking at and thinking, how am I going to start off by drawing that? So what shall I do? Should I just go cold turkey, try out this stuff? I don't know if it's actually even going to show up, so we'll see. What I'm looking at is a recording of a jellyfish swimming. You can find it on Pinterest. And it's only a short clip and I keep having to restart it. But it's a really good way of seeing, because they are so mobile, aren't they? And on the inside you've got this sort of, I don't know how to describe it. I don't even know what the words would be. It's some kind of gauzy sort of thing. And then this one's got, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, for the strings that come down and for the sharper bits, I'm going to use this, because this is exactly what you need. All these filaments. I don't know what he's complaining about. Arthur. I think I'm going to have to let that dry. But what it does need now, in the film that I'm watching, there's lots and lots of dots of diatoms, I suppose they are, going up through the water. So I'm just going to spatter. This is an absolute must do. There's no question about whether or not to spatter on this one, because the diatoms obviously make it much more accurate. This is Winsor & Newton ink, white ink, so I don't know how well that's going to turn out, but we can try putting that on top. I know this is going to dry a lot lighter when it does dry, so I think I probably should leave it there. See what happens. Meanwhile, that's the one that I did with the chalk alone, and then I spattered the ink. So that's dry now. I think I could probably maybe ink with the rigger. Try to draw some more. The kitten has got loads of toys. He's got a ball, 2 balls in a channel toy, so he can play with that, and he does. He's got a mouse. He's got a bird. He's got a feather on a stick. He's got food. He's got milk. He's got a litter tray. He's got everything any cat could wish for. He spends most of his time prancing around in the studio. But when I'm actually painting, he's got to learn that he's got to keep off of the desk. So at the moment, because he's still tiny, he lives in a little room, which is about 1.5 meters cubed. It's perfectly fine. I'm right behind him. He's right here, next to me. He's shut up now, he knows I'm talking about him. Well, this is quite fun, I must admit. So that was the one I did with the chalk only. That was the one I did with the iridescent paint. I think the problem there is it was much wetter. I think this one is possibly better. It's whiter. What do you think? Also, another way of doing a jellyfish, of course, is to do something colourful, really, really colourful. And you could do any colour that you like, really. You could do all sorts of colours. And then I thought, well, maybe these brush pens would be very, what's the word, appropriate or suitable for that. So I'm going to just sketch a sort of slight semicircle, like a bit, I don't know what that reminds me of, a hat of some sort, with a scalloped edge, and then we'll have the tendrils of the jellyfish coming down like that. And I don't think I need to really do very much in the way of work on that, because that's just a basic outline sketch. So then what I'm going to do, I'm making this up as I go along, obviously. I'm going to wet the area that the jellyfish is going to cover. Just wet that roughly. And then I'm going to start, I think I'm going to more or less at random pick these colours out, and we'll see how it goes. So this is a turquoise. I probably ought to just try it out to make sure it's not something else. So yeah, that's turquoise, all right. So I'm going to drop some turquoise in there. And I probably want to use my ordinary water brush, the one with no colour in it. And I'll just sort of smush that around a bit and make that bleed in. And then maybe I'll go for another shade of blue, perhaps. That's quite a pale one, isn't it? That's pastel blue. And I'll probably, I like my things to be sort of random and runny and so on. So that's a bit pale, but maybe we could try it. Oh yeah, that's a bit more like it. And then add a little bit more water. And maybe, should we put a little bit of a darker blue somewhere around here, for example? You just make it up as you go along, really. And then underneath we could have pink, or what's this? Henna. That sounds kind of brown. Let's go for the pinky colour. That's a bit neon. What's this? That's even more neon. Okay, let's see what else we can find. Oh, here we go, some pale ones down here. Excuse the noise. Yes. So we'll put some pink and mix it with some of the blue that's already on my brush. Kind of squish that out. And then we can, I did find when I was doing the sunflowers that if you dip these brushes into water, it does increase the flow. And this one, though, doesn't seem... And you can't really squeeze them in the same way that you can an ordinary water brush. At least I can't. I can't get much out of that one. It's very pale. Maybe that's more intended for colouring skin tone or something like that. So we'll put that one aside. And what's this one? This is orange pink. Let's see if that one works. Now these are quite nice for, you know, really subtle. And in fact, you know, in the middle of the jellyfish, there is a kind of subtle sort ofness, isn't there? Let's see if we can find something a little bit stronger, though. Okay, so now we're putting in some lilac tendrils like that. That's quite fun. And I want to darken that down a little bit here, so we'll add some more. Quite a nice point to the pen. I think I want to reinforce the colour up the top here. I'm using Claire Fontaine Etival paper. I think it has to be said that some of these pens are not what you might call full of colour, especially the pinks. So going to put some water on there, and then I think I'm going to finish this off with watercolor paint. This is Phthalo Blue. This is a core colour. So having put that aside for a few minutes, I'm going to have a go now with doing the same thing with Daniel Smith's Jean Haines All That Shimmers. And again, I haven't used this before. This is a kind of iridescent blue, and looks quite interesting. And I think I'm going to pair that with the green from the same thing. We'll see what happens. And I don't normally paint with these kinds of colours, so we'll see what kind of a fist I make of it. And then we need some, I think we probably need some phthalo blue. So I'll go to the core for that. That's phthalo blue. And I think I'll just leave it at that. I might need some black or something, but I don't think I want to confuse things too much. Although I'll tell you what, the pearlescent white, that might work for the kind of misty bit in the middle. It's possible. Now, whenever you do any kind of painting from nature, of course you need a reference, and so I'm trying to find references to jellyfish online. It's not that easy to find anything very good to work from, so we'll see what happens. But this was my effort. I painted this from a bit of film, video of a jellyfish, so I'm trying to make up the colours. This is what this is looking like so far, the one I did with the pens. Can't say I'm exactly stunned with the success of that. Anyway, we'll do the same thing again, same kind of shape for the top. And then we'll just indicate the things going down there. I'm looking for my rigger again, which I seem to have lost again. It's one of those days today, isn't it? I seem to be mislaying everything. Oh well, never mind. I'll use this one. This is, oh, there it is. Duh. Right, wet paper, same paper as before. Need a brush, need a brush, need a brush. Let's use this one. That's what comes to hand. Just pop in some water here. Same, did I say that? Same paper. This is Clairefontaine Etival. And I don't know what we're going to do here. I'm going to just pick up some, I'm going to pick up some iridescent white, and I'm going to drop that in there for the beginning of the milky bit that's in the middle. Doesn't show, does it? I don't know if this is going to be in any way a success. So then let's pick up some of this. And pop some of that in. Plenty of water. It's a watery kind of creature. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll try a little bit of green here. I'm just dropping some of the core phthalo blue in and into a very wet area to see what happens. And this is the iridescent. I don't know if it's going to react in any way. Don't know. We'll see. So we were using that green as the underside. Let's try a bit more of the white in here, perhaps. And some spatter. And I'm just thinking maybe, I have no idea how this is going to work, but if I just come around with water and just touch, that no doubt will spread. And in a minute, we will let it dry. Just started to pour with rain. I think I'd better go and let the dogs in.